Hey everyone, welcome back to SecApps Learning. This is Singh, and in today's session we will be exploring about the Active Directory and some more topics like what is the difference between local account and domain account, how you can build a domain server, then like some functionality on a domain server, how to create a user and how to create a security group, what is the SAM account, organizational units, etc. and some local policies and group policies, because if you are working in IT industry or cyber security, you need to know about these things, because in every technology, whether you are working in a PAM tool, IGA, or any cloud, etc., you need to know about these terms. So in today's session we will be exploring all these terminology, and also we will be installing a Active Directory server or domain controller, and then I will show you the difference between a local account and a domain account, because I have seen in my previous session, because I have taken lots of training, and I have found like there are many users, or you can say trainees, who are still not clear with the local account and a domain account. So what's the difference between a local account and a domain account? What is a service account? So in today's session, I will try to explain in a better way so that your all confusions are clear. You don't have any queries after this. Okay, so let's start with the local account. Local account, you can say that is something kind of inbuilt account. So let's take one example. Let's say you might be using any system like your laptop, PC, computer, etc. So on that you will have some accounts. Those accounts you haven't created or you might have created. So those are your local, means those are locally there on that server. So for example, if you will open the command prompt in your system and if you will type net users, you will find some accounts here. So some of the accounts are inbuilt account. Inbuilt account means when you install a operating system or a Windows in your laptop or on a server, there are some account gets created. Some local account gets created. So out of that, some are inbuilt account, means you haven't created. Those are default accounts. So those are inbuilt local accounts, and some more local accounts you can create. Those local account only belongs to this machine only. So in my screen, if you can see, these are some account 895, administrator, default, guest, etc. So some of the accounts are inbuilt account, like administrator is one of that, guest is one of the inbuilt account. Rest of the account is 91895. I have created that account. So that's a still it's a local account. So local accounts are those accounts which belong to a particular system only. Using that account, you cannot access other system. So let's say this is my laptop and these are some account. So if I'll try to use these any of the account and try to log into any other server or a laptop or a system, I won't be able to do so, because these are locally created. It belongs to this server only, this laptop only. So those are your local accounts. Just like I will try to give you a more example. I don't know it's valid or not, but still, let's say I you are staying in India, so you born and brought up in India only. So you are local to India or in any of the city. So that's a local, correct? So same you can consider here. Same example you can consider here local. And let's say there are some immigrants or some NRI who are coming to India, or they are from a different country. They born and brought up in a different country and they are staying in India. So those are external. I won't be able to give you the best example, but just to make you understand, local is something which belongs to particular system only, from a particular place only. And when we talk about a domain account, so domain account is something that is created on a different machine, but using that account you can access different application. So for example, let's take one example. Let's say this is your any domain, you can say, let's say google.com. Let's take the example of google.com. Okay, or just take mine example only, secappslearning.com. Cool, this is my domain. Okay, so and let's say there are four system, or laptop or server or PC, you can say. Okay, let's say, let's give a name. This is one server, this is second PC or server, you can consider anything, third, and this is fourth. And these all four machines are part of your this secappslearning.com. Let's say secappslearning.com. Okay, so this secappslearning.com is there on a server, and on that server we must be having some accounts. So those are called as a domain accounts, the account which belong to a domain server. Let's say those accounts are created on a domain server. So let's say I have some email ID. Let's say my email ID is something neer.singh@secappslearning.com. So that's my domain account, domain ID, you can say, because it is created on a domain server. Similarly, there are different accounts which will be there on this domain, and if these four machines are part of this same domain, using the same account I can access these all four machines, because these all four machines are part of your secappslearning.com. Let's say you are working in secappslearning.com and there are four employees. Four employees are having four laptops, and all the four laptops are part of the secappslearning.com. So which means these four servers or laptops are part of the domain. SecApps Learning here is the domain. So any account which is created on your domain, that is your domain account. But on the server also you must be having some local accounts which are locally created. So those are your local accounts. So local account you can only use to access that particular server. But with a domain account, if that domain account is having the permission, by default administrator will be having the permission on a domain server. So using that account we can access multiple machines which are part of that domain. So that's the domain account. So domain and local is, just to give you a brief, local is something which belongs to same machine or same server, and using those local account you cannot access other machines. But in domain account, that belongs to a domain server or a domain, so it could be your domain mail ID also. Using that account you can access multiple servers if that domain account is having the permission. So that's the difference between a local and domain account. I will show you that practically once we built the domain server. Service account. So what is service account, guys? Let me just, so let's take one more example. Let's say this is one domain, another we can say, let's say SecApps Learning, and we have created one account here. Let's say it could be anything. Let's take the account name SVC admin. Let's say this is the account which we have created on this server or this domain. So using this account we are running a service or some scheduled task or some registry, you can say. So this account is called as a service account, which is a non-human, you can say, account. Using an account, if you are running a service or if you are just scheduling some task, So that is called as a service account. It could be a local service account. It could be a domain service account. So, but in most of the cases, it will be a domain service account only. In the organization, we most of the time use the domain service account. So which is created on a domain server. So let's take the example again. Let's say in my system, there are plenty of services running. Okay. And let's take the example. This is the one service account. This is one service account. And if I want to run a service with an account, how we can run? So let's take the example. Let's say this is some service. Just for the example, in production, it might be a different service. So right click on it, go to properties, and there you will find a logon option. So by default, you can say it's a local system account. But if you want to run a service with a service account or with an account, so what you need to do, you need to just click on this account and you need to add that account here. So let me see. So you can see I have just added the account and click on OK. So now what will happen if I will change the password of this administrator account, this service will not be running because it needs a password, it needs an account to run this service. So in this case, this administrator will act as a service account. So that's the definition of service account. I will just simply cancel. Okay. What is Active Directory? Active Directory is something you can say it's a database which store the information, just like your phone book. In your phone book, you have different numbers, contact details, the name of the person, etc. Similarly, in Active Directory, you have details of your employees like their first name, last name, what is the mobile number, what permission they have, etc. When you join a company, first thing what they are going to do, they will just create your identity in the Active Directory. So that's your Active Directory. You can consider it as a phone book which store your all data. If someone wanted to see what's your name, what's your full name, or what permission you have, what's your mobile number, your address, and other stuff, they can get it from the Active Directory team, because that's the first thing which is taken care when you join a new company. And when we say domain controller, guys, so domain controller is something which will validate your identity, your authorization, which is a, you can say Active Directory is a host, and domain controller is something which validate your authority. Steps to install Active Directory or domains server, which we will see after this. How to make a server part of domain, that also I will show you. Create a user. Okay, so all these are practical part. So let's start with the practical. I hope you got the idea about the local domain and service account, because these are very important. When you will go for the interview, any interview, if it's related to IT or some cyber security, definitely they may ask you such question. And if you are working in IT, you need to know about these things, because these are part of your IT only. Though these are not being used frequently, but you need to know about all these basic. Okay, so let's jump to my lab. Okay, so this is my what I have done, I have created two servers, two Windows server I have created, and on this server we will try to on one server we will be installing the domain, and we will make this as a domain controller, and another server I will show you how you can make a server part of domain and what is a local account, everything. And if you want to see like how you can build a Windows server, you can watch the previous videos. Like I have already uploaded videos on how to install a Windows server, Unix server, database. So this is the fourth video in this foundation series. So you can just follow the previous videos and then you can just come to this video. Okay. So first of all, guys, I have defined the IP address and everything. IP address, enabling the your remote desktop services, etc. You can watch in the previous videos. I will just put the description of the previous videos in here so you can easily watch. Okay, so just open the command prompt. Okay, so IP address of this server is 10.10.7, which I have already defined, and this is, I think, 8. Okay, something. Okay, so you can say it's a 8 and that is a 7 server. So as of now, these servers are only a part of work group only, not a domain. So let me show you some local account then, and also how to log into it. So let's do one thing, just sign out. Okay, so let's say this is one server, guys, or you can consider your system, your laptop, anything. And when you try to log in, so let's say if I'll try to log in here, it is asking me the password. And by default, it's going to a local account because this server is not part of any domain. So I cannot log in with the domain account on this server. So if I will just provide the password, I will be able to access this server. So to see your local account, what you need to do, just you can use some shortcut. Okay, so when you will type this command lusr local users and groups, you will land to this page. So double click on users and you can see these all are your local accounts. So administrator is one of the built-in account that has the full permission. It's a powerful account. Your all default and guests, all these are by default disabled. So these are some normal accounts. So administrator here is the your privilege account. So these are your local account, guys. If let's say if I will create one more local account, so simply just click on new user and let's say I'm creating something Neer. I'm using my name only. So let me make it never expire. Cool. So this account is created, you can see, and this is locally created. So I have created this account, so that's why it's not a built-in account, but it's a local account. So the account which belong to the same machine, same server, that's your local account. If let's say this is my one server and this is another, so if I try to log in here, let me try to log in with a different, if I can log in or not. Okay, let me, here also you will find the same thing. Let me show you one more thing. So let's say I'm creating a same user here. Okay, or let's create a different user. Let's say Sing. So this is another local account which I have created on this machine. So that account belongs to the server only. So it's a local account. So let's try to log in. Okay. So can you see by default now it's showing a local account here. So let's try to log in with the RDP. How to take a RDP. So this is one of the question mostly you might get if you are going for L1 role. What is RDP, guys? RDP is a remote desktop protocol. It's a protocol set of rules, set of guidelines, which is used to connect to one Windows server to another Windows server. So if you will just type MSTSC or if you will search a remote desktop, you will get that. Okay. So this IP was, I think this was Okay, typo. This is 7. So another server is 8. So let's try to connect to that 8. Okay, so it is asking for the password. So I am passing the near. And remember, near is created on this server only. Okay, let me open that. Near is created on this server only. On this server, there is no such users. Let me show you so that you are clear. So you can see on this server, there is no need user. So let's try if we are able to log in or not. Because this is still a local machine. Okay, where it is. Okay. So let's try to log in. Let's see what we will get. Okay. You can see the credentials that were used to connect didn't work. Why it didn't work? Reason is because that account does not exist on that server 10.0.0.8. But let's try to log in with a different. Now this time I will provide sync. Let's see if I am able to log in or not. I think this will also fail because, oh, let's see. Yeah, the connection was denied because user account is not authorized. This Sing account do not have the permission. So how to grant that permission? Just click on Sing, try to make a member of remote desktop users group. That's the permission required to log into a server, to access a server. Remote desktop users. So simply just click on OK, apply OK. So let me try to log in now. Let's see if it will work or not. Okay, so you can see it's working. Now I am logged into this. You can see I am on the domain server only, but I have logged into this 10.0.0.8. Let's try to open the command prompt. Cool. You can see I am on the 8 server, and if you will minimize this, you are on 10.0.7. Why I was able to log in? Because this Sing account is having the permission, and earlier when I used a different account, Neer, I was not able to log in because that account do not exist here. So that's the local account for you guys. If you will just close it, it will be closed. So local account is something which belong to same server only. That's the your local. So let's create a domain also, so that we will be able to log into a domain. So I'm going to install the domain services on this server, and after that we will make this SecApp server as a part of domain. So to make a domain server, you will find plenty of videos on YouTube. And one more thing, guys, very important. Just make sure right click on this domain server, go to your VMware setting, and make sure your network adapter is same in both places. If you are using custom VNet, it should be custom VNet on second server also. If you are using NAT here, it should be NAT on the separate server, because otherwise you will have some issues when you are making a server a part of domain. Lots of error you will get. So this network adapter setting should be same for both the servers. Okay, let's try to install the domain. So just tap on the server manager, add roles and features. Next we will go with the default. So here you need to select the Active Directory domain services. So this Active Directory domain services is a feature in Microsoft which you can just select and you can install. So just simply select add features. Next, rest of the setting will be default. We will go with the default. and install. So it will take some time to install the server. Okay, it might take some time, guys. And one more thing, in production, these are the tasks of the server team or AD team, not by a different team. They always take care of such tasks, not by the your PAM or IGA or any team. Server team or your AD team, they will be taking care of it. Okay, so it is installed, you can see, and you need to click on this promote this server to a domain controller. So simply tap on it. Here you need to select a add a new forest, and you can use anything here. So let's say I am using something uh, facebook.com, or not Facebook, let's use something another thing. uh, let's say uh, okay, let's use the Facebook only, facebook.com, because this is lab, it doesn't connect to internet. So I can use the anything here. So you can also use anything, facebook.com, india.com, india.in, india.local, anything, it will work. us.com, anything. Because that is something belongs to your lab only. It's not going on the internet. So next, this is for the recovery. So we will just provide some password here. Okay, you can ignore this part, not required. NetBIOS name is your first name in your domain. So by default, it will take that. Okay, so you can see it has taken Facebook. Next, next. Okay, so here it will verify the prerequisites. If your requirement will not match, it will give an error. So most of the time, what error you might get here, sometime you haven't changed the password of your administrator account. Mostly it will happen in your Windows Server 2012. So what you can do, you can simply go to that same local user. Let me show you. Just type lusrmgr.msc, and simply you can just change the password of your administrator account. Most of the time the error will be related to your administrator, and provide a strong password, some uppercase, lowercase, some numeric you can use. So it is done. So we will just simply install. So let's see. So waiting for DNS installation to finish. So DNS is a domain name system. Okay. Okay, it's taking some time. In production, guys, it might not take that much time. And also one thing, this uh, making a server a part of domain or is making a domain control, it's not something you will be doing on every day. This is when you start a company, this is you need to do it in starting only, and rest of the thing will come after your domain only. And once you install the domain, it will automatically restart, or you can also do a restart. Restart is mandatory. Now this server will act as a domain now it's not a local thing. Finally it's done, so let's try to log in. Okay, so can you see one thing here? Earlier when we were logging to the server, it was not showing Facebook or anything. Why? Because this at previously it was a work group, a single set of computer. But now this time it's a domain server now. So all your local accounts will be converted to the domain. So let's try to log into this server. Okay, so now it's a domain server. And if you will try to open the command prompt and try the same local user and group, you can see the computer is a domain controller now. So when you convert or when you just install the Active Directory services, all your local accounts will be converted to the domain account because it's a domain account now. You can see domain accounts are managed with Active Directory users and computer snipping. So let me show you where you will get those accounts. So simply just go to your server manager and tools, or you can use some shortcut dsa.msc, and here if you will just click on Active Directory users and computer, you will get all your local accounts here under this. So that's your now domain server. So if you will click on here, so okay, just a minute, can you see your domain? And this is your facebook.com. This is your domain now. This is the company name, or you can say domain name. And this is the full computer name, or you can say FQDN, fully qualified domain name, or full computer name, same thing. Just explore the, let's see this. So can you see facebook.com? That's your domain. Under that, you will get different OU, or you can say organizational units. And here you can see your local accounts, which earlier these are local, now it's converted to the domain. So administrator is one of them. Your NIR, we created an account, so now all these accounts have been converted to the domain accounts. So this is your domain accounts now. Okay, so if you want to create some domain account or a user, so simply right click new, and you can click on user, and you can give a name something, let's say neer.sing, and let's use the same here, neer.sing. Next, we'll make it never expire, some password. Next, and finish. And you can see your logo name is neer.@facebook.com. Why facebook.com? Because it's a domain account now. So simply click on finish, and you can see this user or account is created. Cool. And you can have different detail also. I haven't added here, so you can add different detail, and mostly this is done by a AD team, and they will provide your detail, your initial, office, contact detail, your address, etc., which is a part of their process. And if you want to create some local, like some domain groups, so simply just click on new, and you can just simply click on group, and here you can use some group name, SecApps learning login. Let's say this is something login group I have just created here. You can add some member to this group, like what permission you want to provide, you can add here. So in organization, they create multiple groups because they want to provide different permissions to the different team or individuals. So that's your domain controller now, or domain server you can say. Let's see. Okay, service account, Active Directory we have done, this install also done. Okay, create user security groups also done. Okay, let me show you local group and domain group policy. So let's see first. Okay, let's say this is another server. You can see I am on a different server. It's not part of the domain. So if you will open the command prompt, or you can use some search option, secpol.msc, it will give you the local security policy. So local policy means these policies belong to the system only. If I will make any changes here, so this will be applicable to the system only. But when we say domain group policy, so any server or a PC which is part of a domain and you are making some changes on a domain policy, it will be applied to all your system, your laptop, your PC, machine, etc. It will automatically applied. Or you can push also, like you need to apply some new features or new policy on a system. That can be done with the help of domain group policy. And domain group policy is something which you will find on the domain server or the server which are part of the domain. If you will just come here on this tools, and you will see group policy management. So this is your domain group policy. You can see here. And if you can just expand it, and if you want to make some changes, right click, okay, right click and edit. You can make the changes. So this is your domain group policy. So now any server or system which is a part of this domain server, we can make the changes. We can push different policies, like how your company is managing your laptops, because you are working in an organization. You might be using some PC, laptop or workstation, and that is connected to your domain. So they can easily monitor it. They can just make the changes or policy. That's why after 30 days or 14 days, you need to change your domain account password. Otherwise, you won't be able to log in. So from where all these settings are coming? So these are coming from your domain policies only. Okay, now let's make this server, this SecApps server, a part of domain. So to make a server a part of domain, you need to just open the server manager on your any server which you are making a part of domain. Simply go to the DNS IPv4, and here you need to provide the IP address of your domain. So in my case, my domain's address is 7, and this domain server address is 7. If you have multiple domain server, you can add multiple IP address, means another IP address you can also add. But in my case, I only have one. So simply click on it, close, and now you need to click on this work group and simply change. So here you need to click on member of domain. So in my case, it's facebook.com. So click on OK. So can you see it is asking for the permission? So this is something it is asking for domain permission. Means I need to enter the domain username and password. So this is a task which is taken care by your AD or server team only. So I am using my administrator, and this is my domain administrator, not the local one. So simply click on OK, and you can see welcome to facebook.com domain. So now this server is a part of domain. You can restart and click on yes, and this server is a part of now facebook.com. Now I can log into the SecApps server with a domain account. We'll show you how I can log in. So let me just make this need user a part of administrators group. So okay, I will just use this need.sing and I will make this a part of administrators. So now this account is a part of administrators, because by default in lab your administrator only have the permission to log into multiple servers. Okay, so now this server is done, we have done the installation. Okay, one thing, if I am going with this account, so it will be a local login. But if you want to log in with the domain account, so how to log in? So you need to tap on other user, Facebook backslash, and you can see here it has changed to Facebook. Or if you want to log in with the local account, dot, and you will see here it will change to, you can see it has changed to local computer name. So that's the difference between your local and domain, how you can log in. Now, why I am able to log in with the domain account? Because now this server is a part of domain, my facebook.com. So to access a server which a part of domain, we need to provide the domain name and what account you wanted to use. So let's say I'm using Nirsi and the password. So now you will be able to see I am logged in with the on a server which is a part of domain with my local with my domain account, which is near.sing. So in your production, if your AD team wants to access your laptop, because your company's laptop is a part of domain, so if they want, they can easily access your server with the domain account because they have the authority. And by default, administrator will have the permissions to log into any system which is a part of domain. So if you want to see, you will type who am I, and you can see this is the facebook.nising. And if you will type lusrmgr.msc, you can see all these are local accounts because this server is a part of domain, it's not converted to the domain. So here you will see your local users and groups. Cool. So let's try to, okay, let me show you some services also. So let me, okay, so let's say there is one service which you want to run with the domain account or domain service account. So let's say I'm just using something computer browser or something different. Okay, let's say this is the one, properties, log on. Okay, I don't have that permission because it's might be with the local administrator. Okay, let me try to log in with the local, or let me try to use this domain server because I am logged in with the domain administrator here. So let's say this is the service, properties, log on. Okay, I think which account I'm using here, I think it won't be showing. Okay, let me try with the local. So to log in with the local, you can simply sign out, or you can just change user. So now this time I will log in with the local. So to log in with the local, just put dot backslash administrator. And one thing remember guys, on every Windows server, built-in account will be always your administrator. When you install a Windows server or any on your laptop also, you will find administrator is a default account. So don't think this is the same administrator. Every server has its own administrator account. Okay, let's try these services now. I think now we will be able to get that option. So simply right click, properties, logon. Okay. So here you will get that option. Cool. So just simply click on browse, advanced, and object types. Okay. Why it is asking when I'm clicking on this? Because now this server is a part of domain. I need to add my domain credential to change this setting. So let's see if it's working or not. Okay, I think some issue with this. Cool, cool, cool. Let me try this services. Okay, let's go with the local. I think some issue with my system itself. Okay, now it's again not showing that. Let me. Who am I? Okay, it's a local only. I think some services are not having that option. Service, but the concept is same only, guys. Remember this. I think some service do not have that option. So if you want to run a service with an account, so that is called as a service account, or it could be your Windows registry also. Let's say you are having some registry or your IS, if you have installed the IS, which is a web service. So if you are using an account to run a particular thing, it could be your service, your Windows registry, IS app pool, or any other scheduled job. So that will considered as a service account. That's the concept of service account. So let's see. Cool. So by default it's showing for the local, but we can always change to domain. Let's see if it's works or not. Okay. Now you can see it is working. So by default location. Okay. Let me select the facebook.com. Cool. Can you see now I am just searching in the facebook.com. So I can just assign a user which will be running this service. Click on OK, apply and OK. Please enter OK. So can you see it is asking me to enter a valid password. If you don't enter a valid password, this service will not be running. So you can see you might want to plug in your PC. Okay, I think my system is about to shut down. Okay, but you can see this account sing as at facebook.com has been granted the logon as a service right. So click on OK. So now this is your service account. In this case, need.sing is a service account. Don't use the user ID, guys, because generally we will not be using this need.sing. It will be something like admin or svc test. Just use a terminology, means naming convention, to distinguish between the service account and a user ID. User ID is something which belong to us. So need.sing is something which represent my identity. So that will not be something a service account. Generally, you will be having a different naming convention in the organization. Cool. So that was some basic, guys. So you can just try this out in your lab and practice, because this is something which is like basic. It might ask in the interview. So try to explore, and if you come across any issues, you can always comment below and I will try to answer it. So thank you guys for watching. Have a nice day.